So 2024 might just be the big year for gold. It's a bold claim, but we don't have long to wait to find out if it's true. Gold is trading right around all-time highs, something that most analysts expected, just not this soon. November's data is telling us that annualized inflation over the past 6 months has come down to 1.9%. That's effectively right at the 2% Fed target. So you can call foul on the data all you'd like, but the Fed policy is driven by that data. And right now, gold price is driven by Fed policy. Before we get back to it, if you're looking for precious metals, hit up SD Bullion. New customers even get gold and silver for spot. That's sdbullion.com/new. Now, for whatever it's worth, my assumption was that we'd be seeing this kind of run after the March Fed meeting. Not because I have any special line on the future. That was just the analysis that made the most sense to me. It's what most analysts were calling for, and it seemed to be backed up by what was going on, both with the data we were seeing and the realistic expectation of where it was probably going. We'd probably see inflation continue to trend down. We'd probably start to see the labor market soften. We'd probably hear the Fed suggest a pause on rate hikes. And eventually, we'd probably also see actual rate decreases, just not in 2023. So on one hand, I feel like the current run on price is a little bit of a surprise, something that I personally didn't see coming, at least not so soon. So something I guess I got wrong. I thought 1900s were more likely for the next few months, in the high 1900s, but still. But on the other hand, I wonder if traders are still jumping the gun. But either way, there's no current reason to expect a significant correction. I think that's the important part. Now, I don't mean a few percentage points. Gold has been a lot more volatile than normal for, say, the past 12 months. I'd expect some of that to continue, but the possibility of gold dropping back into the 1800s or even the 1700s just does not seem realistic for the near future. So let's look at 2024. Well, real rates are still positive. 10-year bond yields are nearly 4%. Inflation is 2.6%. So real rates right now are around 1.3 or 1.4%. And a lot of analysts have mentioned the case for negative real rates being the trigger for higher gold prices. Now go back a few months and look at those analyst calls, and all of them were saying third or probably fourth quarter 2024 is when we're going to see that move. Well, 88% of traders expect a rate decrease in March now. That's according to the CME FedWatch tool. Now, it's hard to say what inflation figures and bond yields are going to look like at this point or in March, but an actual pivot to rate decreases, that's going to be the start of the story that analysts have been using to back up their claims for higher gold prices, and Jerome Powell more or less mentioned that that was coming when he spoke in the last meeting. Now, March isn't that far off. If you were to look at the price of gold today, you consider the actual pivot is coming, not yet, but actually in a few months. Well, we could be looking at a breakaway year for gold. Now, I'll let others give their thoughts on what breakaway means because my thought might not be quite as exciting, but a push above $2,100. So that was the prediction that always seemed realistic to me, at least as a starting point. So gold is trading right now in the 2080s as I record this, 2100 and up. That certainly isn't something that would be a crazy prediction, but most analysts also mention corrections, like you'll see a pullback before you see the next push upward, and that's what I might have been caught up on. I was expecting to see that in December and even the first quarter of 2024, and maybe we will see a pullback, maybe we won't, but there's not much data out there to suggest anything that we'd see would be anything other than short-lived. That's if we saw a pullback. So again, 2024 is really set up to be the big year that analysts have been calling for. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, all of the things that analysts thought would happen, like inflation normalizing, labor data softening, Fed policy pivoting, we're seeing all of that happening right now. And then all of the things that they thought would happen because of that, like gold and other commodity prices heading up, well, look at what gold's doing. Gold is already trading near all-time highs again. So we're seeing a really strong start, if nothing else. Now, we haven't actually hit 2024 yet. It could be a Santa Claus rally for all we know, but all signs currently are pointed up. Now, with something like gold price, it seems right about the time you start celebrating, start forecasting the next move up, well, you get a reckoning, and it does the opposite. So I'm not making this to give anyone solid hope of a wild run, price to the moon. I'm just saying that all the things that analysts were using for those predictions for gold making the next move up, well, they all came 3/4 earlier than expected. So that event is here. We just need to see how it plays out now. So let's call it good there. Let us know what you think of the current price run, if this is solid hope, or if you think we still have to wait a little while before it actually happens. Let us know. And then while you're in the comments, be sure to hit that like button if you found any of this interesting. Be sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on if you'd like to see more on the topic. And if you're still here, thanks again for watching. I always appreciate your time. Take care.